So we talked about the molecular structure of how the essential oils work. One of the other ways they work so well is by their frequency. All essential oils carry electrical charges, include usually electrons or negative ions, which are healing and healthful. They are also energetic, generating nanovolts of electricity, which are billionths of a volt, at megahertz frequencies. One of the most important healing modalities of the oils is their ability to lift our bodily frequencies to levels where disease cannot exist. So knowing and understanding the frequency is why when we drip an oil in our hand, we roll it around in a clockwise motion, because that gets all of those molecules which at a molecular structure are in kind of a ring pattern. When we start rolling those, it kind of wakes up the frequency and it gets all of those molecules spinning. And so that's why we roll it in our hands. We want to get the frequency going. The frequency then raises our body's frequency, and the higher our body frequency is, the less habitable our body is for disease. So some research has been done about the frequency of our bodies and essential oils and what happens when we get ill. The typical essential oil has a frequency of between 52 and 433 megahertz, and that varies depending on what oil we're talking about. A healthy person who doesn't have any illness, my frequency is somewhere between 62 and 68 megahertz. I'm feeling pretty good today. Once we start to get sick, an ill person has a frequency of about 58 megahertz. The flu symptoms start at around 57 megahertz. Cancer starts when our body frequency drops to about 42 megahertz, and a dying person, death sets in at about 25 megahertz. So we want to keep our body frequency up. The higher our frequency, the less likely it is that we're going to get sick. So we want to be using essential oils, and it doesn't really matter which one, they all have wonderful frequencies, but the more oils that we use in our daily practice of health and wellness, the healthier our bodies are going to be for our frequency. Another super important thing is prayer. The essential oils are known and have been documented in labs to be affected by positive and negative thoughts. A positive thought can raise the frequency of an essential oil by 10 megahertz. A negative thought lowers the frequency of the oil by 12 megahertz. But when we pray over our essential oils, the frequencies are raised by 15 megahertz. So it's great to think good thoughts about them, but when we put our intention of prayer on that, God just raises that frequency 15 megahertz. Pray while you're using your oils. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be something simple. When I put my joy over my heart and I just bless my day and I invite the Lord to just put joy into my heart, it's so simple, but it raises the frequency of that oil from whatever it was, it raises it 15 megahertz. So praying while you use your oils and using oils while you pray is just an awesome combination of health and wellness.